I'm John Gragg, your certified financial planner with APSadvisor.com. Today we're going to talk about some common financial scams, how to spot them, prevent them, and make sure that they just don't happen to you. The first one is what's called the grandparent scam, and this one is just disgusting. They really focus on pulling at your heartstrings. So what'll happen is you'll get a phone call, maybe from somebody impersonating a lawyer, and they'll say, your son or your grandson or granddaughter is, in a lot of trouble. We are trying to get them out of police custody right now. They were, hit by a person, blah, 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 blah. And now all of a sudden we need $10,000 wired immediately to this bank account. So it's going to be much better than that. That wasn't very good. But they're going to have a good script. They're going to be actors, and they're going to tug at your emotional heartstrings. So this can come from a bunch of different angles. They can even pretend to be your grandchild by kind of calling in saying, hey, it's your favorite grandchild. And you'll go, Jimmy? And he'll go, yeah, this is Jimmy. So make sure that, when you hear something about your grandchild or loved one, that you're just not acting harshly or hastily, that you are maybe hanging up the phone and calling that grandchild or calling their parents or calling a loved one that might know something. So that one's terrible, but it is reality and it is prevalent at this point. The second one is just sweepstakes and lotteries, and this one's been around for a very long time, but it still works. So typically what'll happen is they'll call you or email you, say, you've won the sweepstakes, you won $1 million. Before we send it to you, however, you need to pay taxes. You need to pay fees. And so they'll require you to pay taxes on $1 million, which can be a significant amount of money. And then they say they'll release the winnings once you do so. If you haven't signed up for a sweepstakes, it's probably not real. The chance of you winning a sweepstakes is very, very low. So just be aware of it. Don't think, oh, it's too good to be true, because it probably is. The third one that we're looking at is going to just be email and text, and this one is everywhere. So there's a lot of red flags that you can pay attention to, and the first one is going to be the sender. So when you look at an email, you can see if you're working with XYZ company, maybe you get an email that says John at xycompany.com. That's not XYZ company. John at xyzcompany1.com. That's not XYZ company. So that's a red flag. Another one is, what time is it being sent at? If it's being sent at 3 a.m., that's not working hours in the United States. A lot of these fraudsters come from overseas. So make sure that if it is coming from a weird time, that's definitely a red flag. Grammatical mistakes, if the actual message is a little incoherent and doesn't make sense, that is another red flag. So I keep saying red flags. You need to ask yourself when you're going through all of these or getting some weird correspondence in general, does that raise a red flag in my head? Does that seem weird to me? The next one that we're going to move to is government impersonation. This is happening more and more. They will pretend to be an IRS agent. They will pretend to be a Social Security or Medicare employee, and they're going to look for information. So they're not actually looking for you to send them money necessarily. Sometimes the IRS will. But what they're going to do is also look for information. So they're going to be asking to verify your Social Security number, your date of birth. These are all things that fraudsters can use to create a loan in your account, open up a credit card, and just spend a bunch of money. Maybe they can get into a bank account. So information is very important. It's very critical. I forgot to mention with the emails and text is they'll send you a link. If you click that link, they're going to get into your computer, and that's where they get your other information. So you don't even know that it's happening. It's kind of a Trojan horse type situation where you click the link, now they have access to your computer or your iPhone, and now they can get whatever information is on that laptop. The next one is computer tech support scam. So everybody has a computer or a cell phone. You're watching this on one of them right now, most likely. So the customer support tech line is going to, what they'll do is they'll say, this is at Geek Squad, right? And they're going to want to get information from you. They're going to be asking you questions about, again, your social security, your date of birth, and they'll probably do it slowly. It won't be a quick all up front. Give me everything up front. They're going to be asking questions to verify your information. And that's really where they get what is needed, again, to open up a credit card or a loan or get into some banking information. So those are some of the common ones. Make sure that you're prevalent. And there are some services that you can subscribe to that will really help bring this down. And if you do, for some reason, get caught up in one of these frauds, these services are most likely going to make you whole. And if you just do a little bit of research on identity theft protection services, you will find a bunch. Just make sure you find one that is highly rated and has a lot of customers. My wife and I have a big identity theft protection policy, and it really makes you sleep well at night. What they'll do is if something, let's say you're buying a new car, you're going to get an instant text that says, there is a loan that is being opened in your name. Is that correct? So you can see how powerful that can be, because if a fraudster does get your information and they try to buy a boat, then you're going to get a text. You're going to say, this is not me. Stop this immediately, and it won't go through. So that's huge. The next one is, next way to prevent is just being aware and doing what you're doing right now, educating yourself on some of the scams that go around. Another good way is just to talk to people. Talk to your friends and family. If you have any children, maybe you want to be talking to them and say, run some things by them. Say, I was approached by the IRS via email and they said that I have back taxes due. Can you take a look at this or help me out? Don't be ashamed at asking for help, because it's really hard to decipher a lot of these different scams. They're getting better and better, and all they're doing is trying to get better at scamming you. So this is what they do for a living, unfortunately, and don't be ashamed of asking for help. On that note, I'm going to sign off. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If so, please subscribe to our channel. It's really important and helps us get this content out to more people. Enjoy the disclosures, and I'll see you around during our next video.